this is a key thing that I think a lot of people miss. Don't waste your time in this stage perfecting your product or planning for every contingency, since you can't know what's going to work until the product is in action. This is critical. I mean, there's companies that Bill and I have been recently working with that have spent 5 years in product development, still haven't been selling. And we come in and say, okay, let's start selling. And no, the product's not ready. We got to do this and that. And the product is incredible. It's a personal development product. And it's just outstanding, but they still won't launch it. They feel like they got to do more, and it's more. And so, in this stage, you really have to look at, being 80% marketing, 20% product development. You're by that. The reason I said dry run is there is some instances, and not every company is ready for this, that you can actually almost sell something that you don't have yet or it's not totally ready. Again, if that's outside your integrity or your values as a company, you don't want to do that. But we knew that we could deliver it, even though we didn't have this beautiful little package of how it was going to be marketed and all that kind of stuff. An example was I was in a board meeting up in Chicago, and they had said, well, for 2 years we've been trying to do a continuity program. We really want to do a continuity. It's like the future of the company. We've got to do it, but we just can't seem to do it. And I'm like, well, that's because you haven't done it. And they said, well, we didn't pay you all this money to tell you that. And, we want to know why we haven't done it. So, okay, that's another 10 seconds. It's because you haven't, got out there in front of it and sold it. That's the bottom line. So, I had that conversation with them, and I said, so here's what we're going to do. This was on a Thursday, and the salespeople were in the room, and I said, Sunday you got an event. You guys are going to be in the room. You're going to sell our continuity program Sunday. I'm like, what? I said, yeah. They said, but we don't have it. I said, we can deliver it. Yes, we do have it. Starting Sunday, you have it. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to create bullet point slides, and you're going to go in there and sell it. So they did that. They thought I was crazy with no huge, big marketing program and all that kind of stuff. And they converted at 80% of the room. They were all excited. They called me and said, oh, this is just great. 80%, it was incredible. And I said, oh, that's a problem. And it was like, what? 80%? And I said, that means the price is too high. You converted too high. So we doubled the price the next week, and they converted 80% again. So that's just a perfect example. And that right there, that program, sustains the company monthly. I mean, that's what brings the cash flow in and things. So, dry runs once in a while. And this was a membership program that they could deliver. There was some calls, some emails. There was some, videos and stuff that they could deliver. So they delivered it manually, and we built out the whole back end because now it was like, now we know it's proven. Let's do it. Let's go. So that's just a little example of, doing a dry run. But at this point in concentration, you've got to totally shift out of product development and get into marketing.